interview, when we are talking of an interview, we need to understand there are various kinds of interview or types of interview. Starting, as a matter of fact, these days the most prevalent kind of an interview is a Skype interview, where the interviewer is not virtually present in front of you. He is there over through a web call or an internet call. Now let's go on to the detailing of a Skype interview. Please focus over here, children. This is a Skype interview where the interviewer is communicating through you through internet. Now, we need to understand here the communication can pass through the process of communication can be passing through the process of barriers. That means there can be filtration both ways through the internet that you are using as a medium. In a Skype interview, you need to understand that you should make sure the place where you are seated should not be anyway having any sort of filtrations or disturbances. As you would understand, any sort of sound outside can even pilfer between you communicating to your interviewer. There are few challenges over here also, children. Sometimes you would see that you can hear your interviewer but you cannot see. Possibility is the interviewer's connectivity has dropped, or else your connectivity has dropped, which interferes into your appearance being shared. However, the interviewer shows or showcases a sense of calmness in order to hear. Now, when they are putting on that calmness, they also try to see that can you manage through a risk or an unperceived situation where you cannot happen to manage. Here, the part of challenge is you have to control your voice modulation in a manner that it should sound confident and your confidence level should not drop. The challenges, as you would understand, in a Skype interview, number one, the challenge is the place where you are seated should be out of any sort of disturbance. Number two, your internet connectivity and your web camera and microphone should be functional properly. And number three, make sure about an uninterrupted power supply. If, God forbid, you fall into either of these circumstances, however the call hasn't dropped, please do understand your voice modulation and your composure of gesture would play the vital role, because if you are not composed, your flow of communication would get hampered. So you need to ensure that even if there is a drop, you can continue with the flow without getting your voice hampered. The second form of an interview, children, that we were these days practically doing with most of you was a telephonic interview. Now again, this particular form of interview also faces the barriers of communication, where there can be a frequency split and there can be any kind of backdrop noises which may intervene into the communication. You have to understand that in this kind of a communication, you cannot continue asking the question time on and again. At the max, you can ask to repeat the question twice in the whole period of communication, not more than that. So what would you do? In this case, you need to understand that please place yourself in an isolated place so that there is no voice filtration. Your concentration should be completely onto the caller when that person is calling, and more importantly, your voice and speech should be very clear. Do not speak very fast, because the moment you will speak very fast, your voice will start fumbling and the frequency or the flow of your speech will drop. Have patience to listen to the interviewer or the caller before the person completes. Do not jump into the discussion prior to that.
I have a question, ma'am. During telephonic interview, when I get a call and I am occupied in something else, should I take that interview at that point of time, or what should I do during that case?
If you do understand that the time period when you have got the call of the interviewer for the telephonic interview, however, you are not in a very prime or a kind of a situation where you could take the call peacefully, you may always request the interviewer to give you a certain short period of time within which you would give a call back ASAP regarding the same, so that you can place yourself in a smooth sound and a and the decorum of the room should be accompanied to your purpose. You need to understand it is an interviewer's call, not a friend's call. Any other questions?
Ma'am, one more question. What should be my body posture when I'm taking the interview? Let it be
Yes.
Skype or telephonic.
Excellent question. I'll talk about the Skype first because children, you would understand that when you are on a Skype call, the interviewer can actually see you and even see your positioning. So you might understand, like right now I am positioned in front of the board, so you can actually see the background. You need to ensure that when you are professionally communicating with anybody, the background should be plain and should be bright so that your face is visible. Number 2, your attire should be professionally formal. The reason is your attire speaks about your readiness to take the call, right? Number 3, you should be fresh. Fresh in sense, there should not be any sort of sweat or something, because the kind of body language you're having, children, that would directly influence your vocal flow. So you might think that I am answering very nicely, but if you are not in a professional setup, your tone may sound lax or casual, which practically relates to a very negative evaluation of yours. Number 2, I might be taking a telephonic call. I might think that the interviewer doesn't even know where am I. Am I wearing a shorts or am I wearing a shirt? Definitely in a telephonic interview, your attire might not matter, but your sitting posture would definitely matter. The reason is, if you lay down and take a call, children, your voice would automatically be in a very lazy tone. Now that would give the other person a kind of an assessment about you that this person is very casual, right? Whereas if you position yourself upright on a chair and a table, keeping your elbows straight and try to take a call seriously, you would see your tonal quality of speech would also complement your answers. So no matter how good answer you are giving, if your tone do not sound professional, it would not give the right kind of approach. Now let me give a small example. Have you seen a picture of a call center? Why do you think the callers are made to sit on a comfortable chair and table where their body is on a right angle elevated? The reason is, when an interviewer or a caller is calling from a far distance, what happens is the interviewer cannot actually see you, right? So whatever trust building you can do via your voice creates a trust as well as a bonding. So you need to ensure that whatever language which you are using, the way you are using, it should always be polished and positive. I would like to put a hold over here for today because I would like you to take down through certain inputs about telephonic interview, very important thing, because there are some do's and don'ts